Good morning. Good morning. So it is Saturday, and you know how it is. We like to do the coffee talk thing. We do a Saturday show and a Sunday show. It gives you a chance to, relax on the weekends if you don't have to work, or if you're at work, hopefully it's something nice to listen to. So it's the end of the season, the preseason, that is, right? The Niners just went ahead and finished their last game. We went 1-2. Nothing really to be, too excited about or too disappointed about. You have situations where one of the biggest factors we have issues again is health. Another issue we have, we can't stop the run. So we'll see. When players like Bosa come back, we should see if that helps change things. I was very, very surprised and happy with what Kinlaw was doing in the middle of the field. He just was just, oh my gosh, a major beast. And then we'll get to the injury situation. As long as we seem to be able to stay healthy, we should be a formidable team. But if we have an injury here or there, don't know about our chances. We had two kickers on the roster, and neither one of them were able to make the game last night. When you have a punter kicking, it sure does make you think like a punter could kick a field goal. Well, yeah, a wide receiver can throw a football too. They're not a quarterback. Punting is a totally different beast. It really is. A lot of people can do both, but they're not master of both. So it's like Mitch Wisnowski, shout out to you, buddy. I know where it's at. I've had to do it before too. You got to, somebody says, hey, we need you to come out there and go. It's your turn. You got to go. You're the guy who kicks the ball. So we need you. We need you now. So you got somebody like Mitch who runs out there and attempts, and he didn't know through the whole beginning of the game that he was going to be needed like that. So, well, sometimes it just happens that way. Groin injuries, quad injuries, calf injuries, these are injuries that kickers have to deal with. And it's just one of those things. All sports have some type of injury. All players seem to lean towards one. So it's like kickers don't have to worry about their fingers. Quarterbacks, wide receivers, tight ends, we got linebackers, corners, those guys, they worry about everybody, almost everybody on the team has to worry about their groin, quads and calves. When you're running in the game, you can get kicked, you can push the wrong way and strain it. That's why when you are warming up in practice, it is good to stretch, not to over work out, not to overstretch, and to continuously do it. Because if you think about your muscles, they're like rubber bands. And if you let them get all dry and stuff, then when you do try to go and use them, then they're going to break. But if every once in a while, just, and regularly just stretch them, not too much because there's that tension, and, sure, things can get torn and they can get put back together, but that's not what you want to do during a football game or a football season. And if you have a career in sports, you definitely want to make sure that you drink the right stuff and you stretch and exercise, because if you're not putting the right stuff in your body, hey, some people can eat cheeseburgers all day and that's okay, but they're still getting the stretching and the exercises that they need. Some people they can't. So, hey, thank you guys all for coming. I got Darwin here. He's a Ravens fan. I think you've seen him once or twice. His beard's pretty recognizable. He's been on the show. He's a good friend of mine. And, I like to get him in here because, one, Ravens, they got a pretty good kicker. And the Niners kicker went
Got a
three.
history of great kickers, mind you. Not just a good kicker.
Yes, and I'm a kicker guy. Raven Levi here, he's a kicker guy. I call him Ravens all the time. And Darwin, you'll hear me switch up because that's the title of his show. Darwin's a Raven, but his name's Levi. And you look at Jake Moody; he went 3 for 5 in the preseason. Justin Tucker went 4 for 8, I believe. And you think about it, you're like, hey, that ain't too bad. So, what's your thoughts? And let me bring in Ted while you're talking.
I mean, I'm sad to see your boy Moody, with that quad injury. I'm telling you, a quad is a tricky one because sometimes it can take, maybe like 4 weeks to heal. But depending when you pull something, it's kind of like a slight tear. So depending on how the grade of this pull, basically, it could be 4 weeks, it could be 8 weeks. And of course, it also really depends. I'm guessing it's his kicking leg, of course, which, dude, I'm telling you, the force you got to generate to push that ball, you're definitely not going to, even when he comes back, you're probably going to continue to see kick-off duties handed to your punter because there's just no reason to put that extra strain on your kicker's leg. And that's why in camp, there are several kickers always brought in known as camp legs, just like camp arms for the quarterbacks. They got no chance of making the roster. They're just there so your kicker doesn't tire himself out.
Real quick, let's say hey to Ted. Ted, thank you for coming. Appreciate you.
Morning, Bryant. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, it's always a pleasure. And you're welcome anytime. So the other day we were talking, I don't think maybe me and you were talking necessarily, but it was thrown out there, there's arm fatigue, right? And everybody was worried about how Jake Moody was kicking and stuff. And they're like, just let him kick it. Just let him go out there and rip it. I want to see how much he can kick until he gets leg fatigue. Well, it happened. And then I guess something else happened to our other kicker. And poor Mitch, it's not the first time he's out there, kicking off and kicking field goals. But, I'm glad it's a preseason game and not a regular season game. I'm not too worried about it, but I'm glad Robbie's not signed yet.
No doubt. There were people saying, "Oh, maybe we need to trade Trey to free up money for Bosa," and I started thinking, that $5 million would probably pay for a year of Robbie Gould, actually. So stranger things have happened. I don't think that's what will happen. I think we'll find somebody temporary to fill in for the Steelers game and, maybe a few games into the season. But I don't think we're looking for a long-term replacement yet for Moody. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah, it's definitely unfortunate that, he had an injury this early, and when that starts happening, then you're like, oh boy, can this guy stay healthy? But what's interesting to me as well is before the whole trade happened and everything with Trey Lance, they had said that they have the money to pay Bosa. And we've just been waiting for this day. And unless he's really raised his prices and said, this is what I want. And the Niners were like, whoa, guy, we didn't know you wanted that much. I don't, I'm looking forward to hearing Bosa get signed here real soon. And we still have a little bit of extra money. So I like that. Maybe there is a potential bringing in Robbie Gould. All right, Ted, let's hear it. I got Raven, Levi down here. He's going to throw in stuff and talk as well. But because I know you're probably on limited time. What's your thoughts on the overall 3 preseason games we had and, the Trey Lance?
The team doesn't look ready. Don't look like we can stop the run. Second string O-line looks terrible. Nick Zakelj, 2 more holds last night. And, Trey Lance was easily our second best quarterback. I can't believe we traded him. I can't believe we traded him to the flipping Cowboys. It blows my mind. I hope Kyle's right. I hope we never see Sam Darnold. But, I think if we ever have to count on Sam Darnold, we're going to regret this trade. And I think we might regret the trade anyway. I mean, during the Raiders game, Trey Lance got hot. And Eric Crocker said in his show, if Trey Lance can play like that more consistently, there's no QB on this roster who can touch him. And so I clipped that out. It's in my timeline. You can see that clip. And this is the kind of thing I've been saying all along, that Trey Lance makes throws that, essentially Purdy doesn't have that club in his bag to throw those 20-yard lasers. Purdy just can't do it. And so, if Trey Lance turns into who we thought he could be on the Dallas Cowboys, and people say, oh, well, he's third string quarterback, he won't play there either. But he is for now, I would say. But injuries happen, and I don't think it'll take Trey Lance long to unseat Cooper Rush as the QB2 there. And, we all know the really interesting thing is that Trey Lance and Dak both had the same injury where they broke their fibula and they tore both ligaments in their ankle, a very serious ankle and tear and break. And it's interesting that Darnold and Lance both had the exact same injury. And this could be leverage against, Dak Prescott whenever they have their first out in that contract, could be a way to not pay Dak Prescott and move on with somebody with a lot of talent.
Ted, man, you are so well spoken, and I listen to your show like every episode I can. It's really sad the situation that happened, and I totally agree with you. I hope Kyle's right. That's really all I can say.
I admire.
Yeah, the one thing I've been saying is basically like, hey, if we're too good of a team to develop Trey Lance, and we better be good enough to win a Super Bowl like this year. I mean, you could even say next year too. But while Brock Purdy's on this rookie deal, that's the thing. If we're so good that we can't develop Lance, then we better be good enough to win it all, because we've been on the doorstep coming into this. So make it happen, Kyle. And pretty much I was going to say, or I'm not a Kyle fan. I'm pretty much not a Kyle fan until that happens. He needs to prove it to me. The way he and Lynch handled this is terrible. They look awful. The worst trade ever, and then followed up by a terrible trade to send him to the Cowboys. I just can't imagine how it could be. Only way it could be worse is if we traded him to the Seahawks or maybe the Eagles. But, really, you're in the top 3 of worst teams you could possibly trade Trey Lance to.
From an outsider's perspective here, I think Kyle Shanahan's got all in here, all cards on the table, because he's saying this, like you just said. Trey Lance has throws in his bag. He's got clubs that Purdy and Darnold just don't have. That incredible arm strength that he was known for, that got him that hype coming out of North Dakota State. So, but if you look back at Kyle Shanahan, who did he used to have? He had RG3 and Kirk Cousins. Quarterbacks now RG3 had a strong arm, but he made his money off Kirk Cousins. He had a guy that didn't have that big arm. So he's putting all cards on the table saying, I don't need this big hype guy. I need a guy that's going to fit my system perfectly. And it's either going to look, like you said, Super Bowl, or we might be looking at, in my opinion, the 49ers taking a serious evaluation of their head coach and GM position.
There's another one, too. There was RG3 and Cousins. Now it's Lance for Darnold. In between, we had Kaepernick, and he chose Hoyer and CJ Beathard. So, people want to try and make it a race issue. I'm just like, it's just a type. Kyle likes mid-robots who do as they're told, and he doesn't like dynamic QBs. I don't care about the race piece of it. I'm not going to get into that. I don't think it's my place to get into those kind of conversations. But it's a type, and Kyle clearly has a type, and it's been played out again and again and again. There's Dion. Dion will run with that.
I've been saying that, Ted. Ted knows me. Hi, you guys. Hey, Brian. Hey, guys. I've been faithful, Niner fan. Was blessed to see 3 Super Bowls. Hi, Dion. All I'm saying is I've been a no fan zone of John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. And therefore, all I'm saying is you gave up 3 first rounders for Trey Lance. And most coaches and GM in the league has been fired for way less. So therefore, I say this is it. If he don't win it this time, it's on, because our window is limited. Trent Williams is getting old. CMC is getting old. I don't believe he's racist at all. I'm going to say this. I don't believe Kyle is racist. I just think he's stupid when it comes to quarterback evaluations. I just think he's very stupid. And he has an ego problem. Yes. I mean, we passed up on Brady. That goes to show you right there. That could have been our quest for 6 right there. But unfortunately, hopefully, Sam, and I'm a Trojans fan, and Sam Darnold ain't going to take us nowhere. But hopefully, we get this opportunity and they learn, because their days are limited. But we going to see. But I pray that, we get this Super Bowl, because we've been waiting since the Great Depression. And I'm tired of waiting.
Sorry, we ruined y'all's last chance.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
No, Raven, don't go there.
Hey, we got a game this year, guys. I'm excited. I wish I could come out to Levi's Stadium.
Hey, I'm actually going to be there Christmas Day.
Look, I will tell you this, Darwin's Raven. You have every right to say what you said, because they shut the lights off on y'all, and y'all still found a way to make it happen.
I will ride.
I'm
not going to deny it.
I will ride with that conspiracy theory to the day I die. It don't make no damn sense. Ain't not ever any Super Bowl with a
And then the
light
headset issues right after.
Yeah.
The Ravens had no headsets for like the first like however many minutes of the second half at all. They were having to run around. They had like 3 different headsets that weren't working. And
look, I got two Super Bowl conspiracy theories for everybody in here. Number one, we was getting broke off way too bad in that Ravens game, and Vegas called and was like, "Look, y'all better do something. I don't give a fuck what you do. Tell one of them bum ass security guards turn the lights off. This is not about to have. We're gonna lose too much money." Second, they paid Cam Newton. They paid Cam to lose that Super Bowl to the Sheriff because ain't no way in hell Cam was playing that good all damn year. He had a connection with Ted Ginn like no other. Magically, he overthrow Ted Ginn. No, they came to Cam Newton and said, "Listen to me. It's the Sheriff's last ride. We're gonna go ahead and give him this one. So check your bank account. Don't be too upset. But we dropped a couple dollars in there for you. So we don't need to screw this up."
I'd love to drop another one for you. You might like. Did you know the Saints were investigated for wiretapping the year after they won the Super Bowl? I'm pretty sure. The owner supposedly could hear the play calls in his owner's box. And mind you, also, that was a year where I was watching Drew Brees going, man, he is slicing people up. Like, I've never seen Drew Brees play like this. And also that season, they ran a system where they were always called 2 play calls at the line of scrimmage. And it was infamous for him going kill, kill, and moving on to second play. I'm just saying, right after Katrina, great story.
Darwin, preach, Darwin, preach it.
So I'm
not saying nothing. I'm putting some facts I heard out there and letting y'all make your own.
Putting it out there for conversation. Go ahead, your boy Niner Faithful.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that one, bro. I'll never be convinced because the lights in the Super Bowl helped out the Ravens because y'all were the older team.
Ray Lewis wanted his magic run. I'm not going to sit here and deny that maybe something was involved there.
Honestly, I think if you want to talk about Super Bowl 7, I would look more at Harbaugh not wanting to lose to his brother. But and as
I wouldn't have thrown it. I would have ran that.
I had a little brother before he died, and I have a little sister. And I promise you, every ounce of my soul, I am not losing my little brother. I'm just not. That's not happening. I don't care what anybody says, what anybody does. Yeah, I'm with you with that Katrina thing. I mean, me personally, I've always felt some type of way of the Aints. I'm an old school Niner fan. I remember when they were in our division. And I'm sorry, when you talk about taking headshots to Frank Gore, I feel some type of way about that. Like that, like you're talking about Frankie Gangster, bro.
I love me some Frank Gore.
I've always said that if I ever had an opportunity to meet Frank, I would look him dead in the eyes and say, I do not understand. I will go to my grave not understanding how we do not give the ball to you 4 times. I'd have gave the ball to you 4 times and said, Frank, go get us. Get
us this.
I would die. I would
like Seattle Seahawks fans feel about that one against the Patriots.
Against with beast mode, yes, they feel the exact same way.
Exactly.
I literally remember being downtown. So they call me Niner TJ. They call him Shecock TJ. He's from Washington. I was next to him, bro, and I was about to shake his hand, be like, bro, y'all gonna win back-to-back Super Bowls. Like I was devastated. I thought it was a wrap. I was like, how do you not give it to beast mode? Like. I could give y'all into my conspiracies on Pete Carroll not being a great coach. I put the loss on 2019 on him because they wanted to get beast mode and they wanted to, it's going to rain Skittles and all that. And what happened? Y'all got to delay a game. I don't put that on Russell Wilson. I put that on Pete Carroll. That's a coaching issue. How are you not like – anyway.
Did your offensive coordinator not get the play in quick enough, which was a huge problem for Lamar Jackson the past few years with Greg Roman, which I know y'all know all about.
Don't even get me started on that, bro. You and me are gonna.
I'll say this. There are times in life where you must be defiant to be great. In that moment, Russell Wilson should have been defiant.
Do you think Joe does that? I don't think Joe. If Joe got that play, let's just take it. I'm trying to think. Let's just say
I don't think Joe or Steve throw that ball. I think if they have a running back the caliber of Marshawn Lynch, those dudes do not throw that ball. They look at the sideline and go, sure, yeah, that's the play. They get in the huddle and go, fuck that play.
Yeah.
We about to run this damn
It
ball.
was famous. Joe was famous. Steve didn't do it as much, but Joe was famous for being like, yeah, we're not running that shit. Like basically, Joe was famous for doing that. So to get back to the Trey situation, I literally was I walked out for a cigarette and literally walked in listening to the pregame, and they're like, and they were somehow like playing some clip talking about the Cry Girls with Trey, and I was like, what the hell? And they're like, yeah, for those who are just tuning in, Trey Lance just got traded. I was like, holy shit. My whole situation was now my opinion has changed since coming to find out Trey essentially. I mean, I think John Lynch tried to put it a little prettier than it actually was, but I essentially think he was like, fuck y'all, trade me. Now you could discuss, to me, there's several subjects. There's the pick itself. Was Trey Lance the right pick? There was the trade. There's the process of evaluating the quarterbacks. And then there is where we ultimately got to last night. My curious thing about, because I've been on my show on NFR, I have been all offseason, you do not trade Trey Lance unless you're given a king's ransom. You do not trade Trey Lance for the simple fact that we have to look at history. This team, every year under Kyle Shanahan, would be an injury, play, whatever it is, except one, we have played multiple quarterbacks that year. You have to look at history. We are to the point now, 6 years in, we're through the original contract that they signed when they came here. We can make assessments of Kyle Shanahan. One thing is his quarterbacks get hurt. Like, we just see it. There's no doubt. There's no conspiracy. Like, that is what it is. So to me, I ultimately thought Trey was going to win the backup job just because I thought Sam Darnold was going to be Sam Darnold. I just thought 55 games is enough to show you what somebody is. So that's ultimately why I thought Trey. Didn't necessarily think it was going to be anything that Trey did. I just thought it was going to be Sam essentially showing us he's Sam Darnold. Now,
55 isn't enough to show us who you are, but 4 is.
I mean, now
4 tells us everything we need to know, just so you know.
The thing is I step back and I say, okay, Trey, now if we believe John Lynch, he wasn't going to be a malcontent. I think it has a little bit to do with the 4th round, and I think it has to do with Dallas taking the cap money. I really, really do think that's what it is. Because to me, I was at yesterday's game. I don't know if any of y'all were, but I did not see anything from Brian Allen that made me impressed.
That's how
I did. And I'm not saying that I necessarily saw things from Trey. I'm of the opinion that he did look good last week, but we have to understand it is against UPS drivers and security guards. These men are going to be security guards and UPS drivers in a few days. But to me, it's if you get to your 3rd quarterback this year, I mean, we all legitly as faithful. I'm as faithful as they come. Made fan of the month this month. All that are we winning the Super Bowl with Sam Darnold or Brian Allen? No. Will we win the Super Bowl with Trey Lance? Probably not. So my whole thing is the development of Trey at that point. The development of Trey is I just don't see why for Brian Allen. Now, if you come back and he did admit that it was cap implications, okay, fine.
Man, the cap hit this year I think is like 900,000, and next year
it's
still like sub 10 million. It's still not that high.
Well,
so
hey, TJ, let me get Wolf in here real quick because
go ahead.
He popped in real quick. Wolf's a good friend of I think everybody here. He's
yeah.
So Wolf, hey, thanks for popping in, and Corey, we're gonna get to you too. Thank you for coming, Corey. Wolf, what's your thoughts, man? On this whole debacle. We don't even have a kicker, man.
Good morning. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you clear, man. Looking smooth, brother. You look smooth out there with the shirt and everything.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, on my way to work right now. But I was pissed off, man. I got the news, in between work stuff, and I got pissed off. I got some Eagle fans at work. Saw some of my coworkers at the gas station. And I punched the damn door on my car right here. I was pissed. Yeah, man. Kind of what what homie was talking about right now, as far as with Trey Lance, it really pisses me off that not only did we let him go, we never gave him the chance, which, ultimately, based off what he's saying, is he just wanted a chance. The Niners didn't feel they owed it to him to give him a chance to compete for at least a second job. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me at all whatsoever. And then to get a fourth rounder for him is such a slap in the face to an NFC rival. I'm just pissed about the whole fucking thing, man.
Yeah, in total for 2023 and 2024, you're paying only $13.9 million for over 2 years in dead money for that. Like, the cap hit was so insignificant. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
It doesn't make any sense if he could go to Dallas and sit. Ideally, we would hope he can beat out Cooper Rush, but he's going there to be a third string. He could have sat here and been a third string, but I think it was the way they delivered it to him. And what would it really have hurt them just to give Lance the second string spot and put Sam Darnold back? If you really like Sam Darnold, pay Sam Darnold to be third stringer. And if Trey goes into the game and you don't like what he's doing, then switch quarterbacks. But why to give a man the third string and take away almost any chance he's got? That's the Brighton. He was working all season to at least get to this position, and you guys are going to pull it. When we've seen the first game, he got better. The second game, he got better. We were expecting him to play the third game, but you go and break his heart. Wednesday? So
now I will tell you, it's preseason, guys. Like I had to have this conversation with Raven fans for a little bit because it was Demarcus Robinson, and in preseason, dude, he was breaking people off. But this is the thing. This was a 9 to 10 year veteran wide receiver playing against guys, third stringers that almost have no chance of making the roster, that don't even know the playbook, that are blowing assignments. So in the example I was using for the Ravens, he busted a double move on a undrafted rookie free agent. Again, a nobody. And of course, he broke that double move off and took it to the house for like a 50-yard touchdown, 40-yard touchdown last preseason. And the Raven fans like, oh, look how great he is. Look. No, do your matchup analysis, guys. Who was he playing against? Who was that player? And of course, when you look at it, that guy didn't even make the roster. So you got to take everything in preseason. And of course, I know for me, for the last game for the Ravens, it got hard because I'm telling you, if I don't recognize a name out there, dude, they are a fucking nobody. Excuse my language. But, and they're by third quarter, the amount of nobodies out there that literally, I'm doing my predict the roster as soon as the game ends tonight for the contest for the Ravens. None of those names, not one of them, has even the slightest chance of making roster, and half of them don't even have a chance of making practice squad. So preseason can be really hard to evaluate here and there, but I like y'all's argument with this. Trey Lance, there was no reason to trade him. And again, let me pose this question. Do you think if Trey Lance would have maybe got it, let's say, God forbid, you had injuries, Sam Darnold went to shit, Purdy wasn't ready at the beginning of the season, whatever. He got a start. He didn't play that well. Even if you traded him before the trade deadline, would you really get that much less than a fourth-round pick, even if he played mediocre? The upside potential of him because like you were mentioning, are you going to win the Super Bowl with Darnold? Are you going to win the Super Bowl with, I believe, Allen, was it? No. Trey Lance at least gives you potential. And I know Brian's over there probably kicking the 49ers for not getting his boy DTR, who has looked great in preseason. And we talked a lot about him in the pre-draft coverage because he was in my pre-draft special. But I'm frustrated for y'all, guys. When I saw that come across my timeline the other day, I was frustrated for y'all.
The frustrating thing is that Lance played better in camp. I was there for all 9 open practices. Lance was actually the best quarterback in camp. Purdy, it's explainable because he's coming back from his injury. It does sound like Purdy's been doing better in the closed practices, so I'm glad to hear that. But Lance was the best the most days, and the days he wasn't the best, he was second best. Darnold was best the second most days.
And he's, again, a 10-year veteran playing against a lot of undrafted rookie free agents. So I take that one with a grain of salt, even if he played good in camp. Lance is still young. So it's not like he's got this deep understanding of just how to destroy. Josh Johnson playing for us. He's played for what, like 8 NFL teams, I believe. So in camp, dude, he's tearing it up because, again, the man knows NFL defenses at this point.
Yeah,
And
well,
Darnold knows he's
Darnold
not gonna
didn't
get
tear
hit.
anything up. All he did was dink and dunk, and he had two of the worst days where he was the worst of the four quarterbacks. So I mean, the reason why we traded Lance is because we could get something for Lance. That's why you can't get anything for Sam Darnold. That's why we did it. And Kyle doesn't want the distraction. I mean, I did always say that once you pick your QB, whether it's Darnold or Purdy or Lance, then you got to get rid of the other one. I just never thought that we would pick it off of one series against the Broncos where Purdy didn't score. They're going off last year. I get that, but Purdy's been injured since last year, and since then has not looked as good. He's thrown a lot of picks, a lot of pick sixes, a lot of drop picks, a lot of sacks, and literally every long ball he threw in the 9 days I was there was long or short. There was
He's
not
still
one
seeing
good
ghosts
deep
for the
ball that he
Jets.
threw the whole time. So, to just say he's back because of some dink and dunk, and I never called Purdy dink and dunk before either. But what we've seen so far this preseason is all dink and dunk, and even last night he tried to throw one to the deep sideline and he airmailed it. So, I mean,
As someone that followed Kyle Shanahan in Washington, there was one stat line when RG3 won his was MVP or Rookie of the Year his first year. Either
Rookie
way,
of the year.
there was the game he was playing against the Baltimore Ravens, and people don't understand this. The dink and dunk is part of Kyle Shanahan's. Well, shouldn't say you don't understand this, but that game I watched against the Baltimore Ravens, 7 out of 10 of RG3's first throws were at or behind the line of scrimmage. Kyle Shanahan runs an extremely strong wide receiver screen game, which as someone who played, when I play DB, I fucking hate teams that do that. Force me to play up at the line of scrimmage every single snap, and I can never play off technique, basically. And in his own defense, oh god, that gets even more annoying.
But that's selling yourself out to say, well, we're fine with that because first of all, we haven't won any rings that way, and second of all, if you look at the 2016 Atlanta Falcons, they led the league in air yards with Matt Ryan, and they go, well, we don't have a Julio. Well, we've got a Ayuk and we got a Kittle, and they can both be deep threats with it. You can't have a deep threat weapon without a deep threat QB, and you're just selling yourself short when you're allowing them to stack the box with an extra safety because you don't have a deep arm to throw it deep. And then also, if you don't have wheels, top speed to run, then you don't make a defender spy you that's left. So literally with a QB like Lance, you take two defenders out of the box, one physically out and one has eyes on Lance and can't guard your weapons. And so that is the allure of a QB who has good top speed and a good deep ball. And that's, what we were all hoping for.
Nothing scarier than going cover zero and everyone turning their back and there's a quarterback that can run. Terrifying.
Yeah, and I get it. The short game's great, but basically everything that Purdy does well can be learned, except for his quickness. He has one elite trait that can't be learned. It's quickness. Everything else can be learned. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying Lance will learn to do it, but it sure looked like he was on his way to me.
I'm going to be a devil's advocate here. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, this what Brian was just saying. Why they say is a good chance for when he goes to the Cowboys that he's gonna play when he's gonna be third string there. You have more chances to play with the 49ers with the injury.
No, he didn't.
History.
He never had a chance. He never had a chance here. With everything that I'm hearing and everything that I'm seeing, everything.
What I'm saying is he would have had more of a chance to play in the game with the 49ers than he would with Cowboys, being the third string.
Well, I mean, the thing is from what I've heard,
with the 49ers injury history.
Oh well, yeah, because Kyle unfortunately loses a quarterback every year. Here's my biggest problem with all of this. Number one, Darwin, I'm scared of y'all because Lamar actually has legit receivers.
This is the best wide receiver core I've ever seen.
I'm telling you right now, I don't want no smoke in that game. We already have problems with the mobile quarterback, and now you give Lamar Jackson a reason to actually stand in the pocket and throw the ball.
And a competent offensive coordinator.
Exactly.
OBJ's last 1,000-yard season was under Todd Monken when he was the offensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns.
There it is. So I'll say this, and I know Ted dipped out, but the timeline of the screw-ups for Kyle Shanahan is endless. And here's my number one thing. I'm being honest with you. If you don't win a Super Bowl, sir, go. Get out of here. Jed, you were stupid for giving that man another contract without a Super Bowl ring. You should have never done that. Kyle Shanahan is 51-47 in 6 years. He is barely over 500, people. Barely. Only 4 games over 500. And I'm going to start calling him Kyle Reed until he starts to pull his head out of his you-know-what. Because you're just like Andy Reid in Philly. You're consistently competitive, but you never get over the hump. See, the biggest issue for me is that Kyle keeps getting a pass for the BS that he does. And I know a lot of people run from the situation of the race spectrum, but these are just, you don't have to run from it. You can speak to it. You know why? These are facts, people. Now, I'm going to preface my comments by saying this. This is my opinion and my opinion alone. I didn't say this was Corey. I didn't say this was Wolf. I didn't say it was Darwin. I didn't say it was Brian. I didn't say anybody else on this podcast believes what I believe. But I can tell you right now, Donovan McNabb, RG3, and Trey Lance will tell you Kyle doesn't mess with black quarterbacks. It's that damn simple. It's been reported that Kyle told Trey at the end of the season, hey, it's a wrap. I'm bringing in Sam. Brock's our guy. So you knew ahead of time that you didn't believe in this young man. And you had other offers. I've heard there were several offers with multiple picks involved that they turned down. You were never going to get anything back for Trey Lance because he never gave him an opportunity to show you who he was. When Trey Lance came in the game, you ran him like a running back. So that's your fault that he got injured.
That shit used to piss me off as a Ravens fan. When I watched how they ran him, just like how they would sometimes run Lamar up the middle like Greg Roman did. It drove me fucking nuts.
And I will tell you this. He's no Lamar. He's not even Josh Allen. He's barely Russell Wilson. They overestimated Trey's athleticism. That's what they did. You were not getting those types of dudes. He doesn't have that kind of speed. What you were getting is a guy who could stand in the pocket and deliver the ball. What you were getting was a guy who did have a good arm for the deep ball. What you were getting was a guy who would have made Danny Gray relevant, but now Danny Gray and Hurd possibly is going to wind up being cut. Kyle Shanahan has screwed up so much, and this type of screw up royally would have gotten any other head coach fired. But Kyle seems to keep getting a pass from a ton of the fans, and he seems to keep getting a pass from Jed York. And I don't understand why. At the end of the day, if Kyle Reed does not get over that hump and bring us a Super Bowl this year, he should be gone. Him and John Lynch. And for John Lynch to get up there and lie and say, oh, well, you know, Trace Camp leaked this when he leaked this is wrong. That young man has been treated horribly since he's gotten here, and it's not fair to him. Why draft him if you knew you didn't believe in him? And then you're going to do that. I'm going to tell you right now, if we have a crap season and we don't make the playoffs, Captain Kirk will be here if they don't fire Kyle. Why? Because Kirk Cousins is a free agent next year, and you know Kyle coveted him since day one when he walked in our doors. And that, to me, tells me all I need to know, that Kyle is he self-sabotages himself, and it's not fair to players to have to deal with that. The next egregious thing, how you going to have this whole situation come up, and then you look at Fred and Javon and tell them, oh, by the way, hey, man, I'm going to need y'all going out there talking. I can't necessarily, talk about this stuff right now. You want to duck it, and then you get up at the presser last night and they ask you about it, you act like you cared about the kid. If you cared about him, when they asked you a few pressers ago, how do you feel about the way that the media is treating him? Your answer would not have been a smug response of, well, he's a first round pick. It comes with the territory. No, you would have fought tooth and nail for that kid. And at the same time, where are the players? Y'all came to Jimmy Garoppolo's defense, but y'all can't come to Trey's defense. Y'all traded all that draft capital to go get him, but none of y'all said nothing. Nobody said anything. Nobody came out and said, hey, man, y'all need to stop talking about the kid, cut him some slack, do this, do that. Anything, nothing from the players, nothing from the staff, nobody. No one cared. And that to me tells me this is why you didn't see Trey Lance at that game last night. Because if I'm Trey Lance, I want nothing to do with San Francisco. I don't even want to hear the word 49ers, or I might go the fuck off. And I can tell you right now, if I ever meet Kyle Shanahan, I'm going to flip him the bird and I'm going to tell him you're a piece of trash for the way you treated that young man. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should stop head coaching because that's not right. You should never have done that to that young man. He didn't deserve that. You treated him like trash. You never cared about him. You didn't even allow him to be the backup quarterback of all things. And you went in there and got Sam Darnold. You got 55 games of garbage, and you know he's garbage. But Sam separated himself? In what way? What are you seeing? I'm sorry. Kyle has a type. It is docile Caucasian quarterbacks that will not challenge him, which is why Aaron Rodgers wasn't here, because he would have challenged him, which is why Tom Brady wasn't here, because he would have challenged him. He doesn't want anybody challenging him. I'm sorry. He's a narcissistic, egotistical bastard, and I'll be glad when he gets off my damn team.
A lot of people remember. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Real quick. I think Wolf might be getting close to work. Wolf, what's your thoughts, buddy? Thank you so much for coming. Okay, maybe we don't hear Wolf, but that's okay. Wolf, thank you.
Oh, there he is.
Got poor signal right here. I need a minute.
Okay, no worries. When you're ready, just pop in. Raven, go ahead, man.
Yeah, a lot of people remember the whole RG3 Kirk Cousins thing in Washington. The owner wanted RG3. Kyle wanted Kirk. That's why a lot of people were like, whoa, how are you going to take two quarterbacks in the draft? And maybe we saw that situation in the Niners. Maybe Niners ownership and upper leader management was saying, hey, Trey Lance is our guy. While, of course, Kyle Shanahan in the background was saying, But I got to play devil's advocate a little bit here, guys. Just a little bit, okay? So don't hate me, Niner fans. But, it has happened before, and it's also been used as, they're trying to make reasons, if there is a race thing involved. So, again, it can go a bunch of different ways here.
Oh, no, there is.
Was there something we weren't seeing? Because,
for me, no question there is.
We're not part of the organization. I say this a lot. I'm lower than an armchair quarterback. Let's say that. We're not in that building. We truly do not know what goes in and out of that, there were people saying Johnny Manziel has never watched film. And then, of course, now we know, they were logging his hours and they knew. So, devil's advocate here. Is there something that might come out in the future that maybe he wasn't doing properly behind the scenes? Of course, we all know you can make yourself look good on social media. You can put, oh, look, I'm doing the work. I'm here. I'm doing this. But when you get in the room, the quarterback room and the film study room and all these other, aspects of their job, was he matching the effort that the other quarterbacks in the quarterback room were giving? And, again, I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm not saying he was by any means. There's nothing I've seen that would indicate that. But, we see these bombshell stories happen all the time, sometimes after the trade happens.
I can tell you this. I'll give you an instant rebuttal to that. Trey Lance logged the most time on those iPads. Literally. He was the guy studying. Trey Lance had the playbook down within 2 months. All he needed was the reps to execute the plays. So his intelligence was well beyond what anybody else had. So it's not that there wasn't anything that he was doing. He was never wanted. And when it came to the Kirk Cousins thing in Washington, it was very simple. That was a slap in the face to Daniel Snyder to say, you didn't want me to draft him, that's fine. I found a way to go get my guy any damn way. And it just, and the thing is with Kirk Cousins, he disappears when the lights are on. When it's Monday Night Football, when it's prime time, he doesn't show up. When it's the playoffs, he don't show up. But Kyle magically thinks that he's going to come here and he's going to be the guy. No. I would literally take 1 minute right now and give y'all a chronicle of Kyle Shanahan's screw up. Number one, when you first got here, you did not draft a quarterback. You scouted none of the quarterbacks. What were those two quarterbacks, by the way, that came out of that draft that seemed to be what we call franchise quarterbacks? Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. What were both of them African-American? Were they not? Yes, they were. Let's move forward. You stick us with Brian Hoyer, who has set a record for the most games lost in a season by less than 3 freaking points. Okay, insert CJ Beathard, the only guy you scouted in that draft, which makes absolutely no sense. You fell in love with Kirk Cousins. You knew you wasn't going to get him, so now you have to settle for Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy comes in, rips off, 5 wins, and everybody thinks he's great. Next thing you know, he tried to be a running back. Boom, we lose the season. 2019 comes. Great start. Great finish. Oh, my bad. Kyle got comfortable against the quarterback that you never get comfortable against in Patrick Mahomes, the guy you didn't scout. That's just a list of things, and that's within the first 3 years. The man has been screwing up left and right, and people keep giving him a pass because they've seen a couple of NFC Championship games. I am 150% not sorry when I say this. You're not good enough. You need to do better. And if Kyle does not bring a championship to the 49ers, he should not be working here anymore. And a lot of people are like, well, who are you going to bring in?
Let's get some questions now. So, Dion, would you agree that he built the defense first rather than the offense, or do you think he built it gradually together?
He didn't even build a defense properly because they told him not to draft Solomon Thomas. They told him. There were several scouts that quit because they told John and Kyle. They said, "Hey, who are we going to draft?" They said, "Do not draft." What'd you say?
Drafted the defensive line, and they continued to draft the defensive.
Yes,
line.
he did, but it didn't. It obviously didn't pan out.
But they did that with the mentality with Eric Armstead, Buckner, Solomon Thomas, and the other one's escaping my head right now. But they kept drafting defensive linemen every year. Kinlaw's another example because we keep getting gashed. We had the highest rushing yards attempt against us in history. We're the Niners, and we're supposed to be able to stop the run, and everybody was just running up the gut. They let Colin Kaepernick go because that was his choice. They asked him if he wanted to stick around, and he said he'd like to part ways.
He did.
Why would you want Kyle to hold on to him and say no? They did draft a quarterback. You did refer to his name. CJ was the one. He just wasn't a first-round pick with the mentality, are we going to draft for the defense or the offense? So they built a strong defense. We got a good tight end with CJ Beathard because they went to the same schools, and later on in the year. And I think this is our problem right here is when we got to the point where we got Jimmy Garoppolo, they're going to let Jimmy go. They thought about trying to get Tom Brady. They thought about getting these other veteran quarterbacks, but right now Kyle's trying to make a name for himself. So if Kyle can make Scuba Steve look good, then, that's what he's going to try to do. Is it the best decision? No, but the idea, and I think we've all went around this bush and we've all said it. The plan was Kirk Cousins, and they had to get Kirk Cousins, and it didn't work out for us because we started winning games. If we would have kept losing games, then we probably would have got Kirk Cousins. But the Niners aren't about to just start tanking just because we want to draft pick, or the fans won't let us just draft.
I need you to explain to me how we still would have got Kirk Cousins, because Kirk Cousins has signed a 3-year, $84 million deal with the Vikings. So explain to me what we was going to do to get Kirk Cousins if we'd have kept losing.
The Niners were going to do everything they could to get him from the Commanders, or whatever you want to call them, Washington. But Dan Snyder does not like trading with the Yorks. The Yorks do not like messing with him. It was really weird that we got.
And the Shanahans have no. They had no. But what I'm saying is that year when Kyle came, Kirk Cousins was not available in any way, shape, or form. And he knew that.
He wasn't available for 2 years, but that was still their plan. They were going to try to figure out some way to get him over here. That was the plan. And but in hindsight, that's a dumb plan. When you look back at it, it's stupid, because why are you wasting your time on a guy you have no way to obtain? That's what I mean. Like, these are decisions that are made that don't make any sense. And I stick to it. I'm trying to wrap my head around the stuff that Kyle Shanahan does. I'm sorry, Kyle Reed, but it doesn't make any sense. And I'm sorry. To me, I'm keeping it a buck. It is F Kyle all the way. I don't like him. I don't want him as my head coach, and I'll be glad when he gets out the building. I'm sorry. The man has screwed up one too many times, and I'm tired of Niner fans giving this man a pass. We cannot keep doing this, y'all. We can't sit here and watch mediocrity and then be comfortable with it. We got to want better. We can't keep giving that man an excuse. I'm sorry.
3 NFC championship games and 1 Super Bowl appearance and a loss is not good enough. You've had more than enough time to build this team the proper way. You've had more than enough time to get you a franchise quarterback, and on several occasions had the opportunity and never pulled the trigger. You need to bring a Super Bowl here, or you are just failing everyone. And the way that you treated this young man, and then to send him that sends 49er fans in a rage. You send him to the Cowboys, like really? You know how much we can't stand them. You know we hate them. You know
That's
there's
trying to
been
make a
rivalry for
statement.
years.
Like that's a statement.
Like that's a statement right there. F the fans. We don't care how you feel. And
every other
team
team was willing to give you a 6, and the Cowboys were like a 4th. I'm doing it. I don't care whether.
No, I get it. You take it because you're gonna get what you can get for Trey Lance at this point. It is what it is. All I'm saying is, if Kyle does not bring a Super Bowl franchise here this year, he should be fired for all of his offenses. He's got a laundry list of crap that he's done since he's been here, and he has screwed up in ways you can't imagine. But I don't understand why people keep trying to like maybe I'm not the optimistic person that a lot of people are. And there are a lot of people who are optimistic and like to think about this on a 50-50 scale. I'm sorry. You've done one too many egregious things since you've been here to do that. And the other thing really quick, where's Nick Bosa? Where is Nick Bosa? Why is he not signed? Parag, John, figure it out. We are going to look bad if Bosa ain't on the field. But I'll give you one positive from the game last night. I done told y'all about Drizzy Drake Jackson. That young man gonna be a superstar.
Wolf, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, man. 1 sec. Yeah, man. So a lot of people want to use the excuse too that it's a fucking business decision. No, that was probably the worst fucking business decision you could fucking make right now at this point in time. And for the past few years, I've been, because right now you've pissed Niner fans off so much to the point where I'm seeing a lot of people are talking about they don't want to give 49ers or spend another dollar on the 49ers. Die-hard 49er fans don't want to spend a dollar on shit right now, and I don't blame them. Our quarterback room is so fucking vanilla. I've felt every year leading up to this, every year we've had a great chance for the Super Bowl. Sure enough, we made it to the NFC Championship. That's my hot take. We're not making it.
I think he's cutting in and out a little bit.
Oh, okay. 1 sec. Let me know what you guys did here. You guys heard me say.
Well, the whole thing with the Kirk Cousins thing, no one knows exactly how that was going to pan out. That was the speculation. I also know that they really – go ahead, Wolf. We can hear you. We can hear you, Wolf. But we didn't know how it was going to pan out. We also know that there was noise made by somebody. I don't think it was Kyle, but somebody wanted a veteran quarterback in there. I think it was John. I think John wanted Tom Brady. I think John wanted Aaron Rodgers. I think Kyle liked not Matthew Stafford. I think John liked Matthew Stafford. I think Kyle liked Watson. I think he did. And I think when they found out about the therapy and the massages and everything, that's when they backed off. And that's when Kyle was like, I don't know what we're going to do. They traded up for 3. They went after Rodgers the night before the draft. And then we go and trade for Trey Lance, a guy who had 17 starts in college, a couple starts in high school, and 4 starts in, he's had 8 games total in his NFL career. The guy's got a lot of potential. So for you to say, okay, we're moving off of him and you're going to take less money, less for him than what you give up to give him. And it's not going to really hurt you to sit him because we have the money to pay Bosa. They've said it for 2 years almost. They have the money to pay Bosa and Ayuk. So are you going to tell me now the project's over? What happened? Was there something happening in the meetings? I mean, was he not paying attention? Something happened. And Kyle, if you go and watch Kyle's press conference last night, I really believe him. I believe he had a respect for the guy. I really do. He seemed like he was upset about the situation, so I just don't think it worked out. And Dion, it's okay to disagree. You know, we're still friends, but that's the way I looked at it. I seen when Kyle was talking, he didn't really like the conversation at all. I think they're trying to give the guy an opportunity. They're still friends, it seems like. John Lynch, the same situation. He really looked nervous. He really was upset behind the podium. If you think it's a big stage, okay, maybe they're true thespians. I'm not sure. But I think they really had something invested with Trey. I think they really liked him. And I think exactly what they said. Trey, when they told him Wednesday, Trey got a little bit emotional in the locker room or the meeting room and asked for a trade. He walked upstairs and talked to John Lynch, and John Lynch was like, okay. And they talked and they said, okay, we're going to find him a spot. And then he talked to Trey later, and there was other teams that was offering stuff, but Dallas, out of everybody, took the contract and give us a higher pick. I don't like him going to Dallas, but I don't like hearing 49er fans say they're going to start rooting for Dallas now because he's over there. You're not a 49er fan. You're an individual. You like individual players. You're a fantasy football player. That's fine. That's okay. I'm a Niner fan. I'm going to root for the Niners, whether they have Scuba Steve out there or they got Trey Lance or they got Jake Moody. It sucks because some of my favorite players have been traded off. And, don't buy jerseys. That's all I can say. Don't buy jerseys. If you don't think the player is going to be on the team long enough, or if you really do, or maybe do the rule of thumb, right? Buy the jersey after the player wins a Super Bowl. Then they're forever, right? They're forever on our team.
Or get the 49 jersey and put your own name on the back.
My problem with your 49ers is this. I think you have always been a draft team kind of like my Baltimore Ravens. You develop your team through great draft and just good, steady GM decisions. However, when you made the trade for Trey Lance, you kind of flipped the script. You took there's only two approaches to win the Super Bowl. One, develop your team through draft picks and have a rookie contract on your QB and basically build the team around him. Two, you build a great team and then get a franchise quarterback, pushing yourself over the cap, of course, putting yourself in a limited window. But of course, we have seen, case in point, the Rams and other teams do this successfully. Those are the two current models in the NFL. You flipped your script and traded 3 first-round picks. And that's another big part of this, because when we look at what those 3 first-round picks equated to, I think of this. Yeah, Jalen Waddle. It could have been Micah Parsons. It could have been the trade for Tyreek Hill. And then there's one more player on there, Jalen Waddle, I think. It goes on. So that's what makes this look even harder. But you flipped your script, and instead of trading those picks for a veteran, you traded them for a quarterback, and then you're left without high-level draft capital for 3 years. And you're not betting on the veteran. You're betting on a rookie, and you still have holes in your roster. Which, of course, you have done an admirable job of filling every hole, and in financial situation, you're doing well in the next few years when I check you on over the cap. But it just didn't make sense. It didn't follow any of the models. And statistically, it just doesn't make sense, man. And I'm a stat guy. It was fucking stupid. They said, fuck them picks. And then they're like, shit. Oh, man. We kind of need some picks here, guys.
Yeah, it just, to me, the reason that I state that they never cared for him and they didn't like him is because though they may go up to the podium and do that, man, Kyle done lied to us on how many occasions when he got up at that podium. And there's a lot of people out there that can't deny that. He done got up there and said a whole bunch of things that ain't true. And it's just the way that the situation was handled that makes me believe they just lying. They doing what they got to do. They cowtail it for the media, and they're just telling you what you want to hear. At the end of the day, I'm sorry. If Trey Lance supposedly got a little emotional, he had every right to do that. You don't draft me that high. Tell me I'm supposed to be your franchise guy. You tell Jimmy, get out the building. Oh, but by the way, you bring him back so he's breathing down my neck and over my shoulder. There were literally fans in the stands that still had, we want Jimmy signs. So do you really believe that young man could have moved on having Jimmy Garoppolo looking over his shoulder? Then you put in a game plan that is run heavy, and he's a part of that running. And then to top it all off, when he gets injured, you magically go to pass happy offense. Why wasn't this something that we saw with Trey Lance? I'm sorry, it's just too many moves and the things that he has done and the things that John Lynch have done. I'm sorry, I cannot believe that they ever had any faith in the young man. Because if you really had faith in him, you don't delegate him to the third QB behind a quarterback who's giving you 55 games of nothing. Sam Darnold has proved nothing in this league. He has not told you why he deserved to be a starter. He ain't even told you why he deserved to be the backup. And by all accounts, I'm sorry, all the reports out of training camp from any and everybody that was there was Trey Lance was the best guy in camp. So how you go from the best guy in camp to the number 3 quarterback? For God's sakes, you get reps to Brandon Allen, and we all saw what he looked like last night. I'm just saying, there's no way that they actually cared about that young man. When Kyle gets up on that podium every day and lies about whatever he feels he can, I will never believe that they ever liked Trey Lance. It just doesn't make sense to me. His track record proves that he does not care for African-American quarterbacks. If you are a black quarterback, don't come here because Kyle won't let you play and you'll wind up getting cut at some point. And once again, these are my feelings. I'm not casting these aspersions on anybody else that you see here. But it just truthfully irks my nerves. There we go. But it just truly irks my nerves when you're not seeing the truth for what it is, man. This dude is like right in your face telling you how he really feels. I can never trust Kyle Shanahan again, ever. And the only way that he can earn any kind of trust from me is to bring a damn Super Bowl to this team. And if he does not bring one this year, he need to go. Get him up out of here. I don't care who you bring in. You need to bring in another offensive-minded coach and a guy that's going to be honest about things. And I'm sorry, man. It just you can't get it. You can't tell me that he actually cared about him, because the number one thing I can tell you in the most recent news, if Kyle really felt the way that he said he felt about Trey Lance, why didn't he defend him when he had the opportunity? Why not? Why get up there and chalk it up to him being a first-round pick and that just being the situation? You could defend Jimmy Garoppolo, but you can't defend Trey Lance? Come on, man. Like, you got to see the writing on the wall.
I still don't even understand why y'all drafted Trey Lance. It's just schematically. In North Dakota State, they run a power run scheme with a stretch deep passing. That's what they run. They play CCU all the time, and I'm a CCU alumni. I've watched North Dakota State quite a bit. That's not what Kyle Shanahan runs. Kyle Shanahan runs an outside zone run scheme with West Coast passing concepts, basically. A complete opposite of what Trey Lance's actual skill set is. And that was, I don't know, again, like maybe it was ownership, maybe it was Kyle saying I can make this guy work, but it was always head scratcher for me. I think what just happened here is this. The only reason I think Trey Lance hadn't been traded was because coming back.
I think that's Wolf. He has to be himself.
But they said last year, like we were talking about, you're not going to trade him unless you get a huge draft haul, and that's because you had to give up such a huge draft haul. So if you were to take that out of the equation, I think they looked at it and said, "Hey, this is the quarterback. If we didn't give up 3 first-round picks for him, would we trade him right now?" And I think that's how they came to that. But I'm still I can't make an educated opinion on Trey Lance because I have not watched enough from him. But I still wouldn't have done it.
I honestly feel like last night, really quick, was karma. You ain't have no kickers. You lose the game. There's certain things that just not going well. We got killed in the run game. That is a problem. Our run defense is a problem right now. That's not a good look going into the season because who do we face? Najee Harris. And who is he? A power runner. Where's the weakness in the wide 9? Up the gut. Where have we been getting killed? Up the gut. These are things that you have to take into account. And we can't avoid those. You gotta fix that. And the number one thing, Folks in the building.
Wolf, I think you got your YouTube app. You might have to turn down the volume.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So you guys hear an echo?
Yes,
Yes.
Damn it.
but
Is that better?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
All right, cool. So, man, guys. So for one, I don't think it's happening for us this year. Like Kittle, Debo, Ayuk, and McCaffrey, I think they're going to have a miraculous year and put the team on their back. And I think that's the only way we could make it. You know, in times past, we didn't have a great offensive line. So we've had to have a plethora of quarterbacks. Or we have to have a good old line. We don't have either now. But we got a 4th-round pick. What the fuck are we going to do with the 4th-round pick? We need old linemen. That's what we need. We're shit in the trenches right now.
You watch the draft special.
That's
I
why
was
I don't watch the
screaming.
Bro, that's why I don't think we're going to hit the Super Bowl this year. I just don't see it. I think those 4 offensive weapons got to have a miraculous year and put the team on their back, or else we're not doing it. I don't see it. Trey Lance gave us 3 years of his life, and we couldn't even give him a chance at second string. That's crazy to me.
In that preseason game, was Hargrave, Armstead, or Kinlaw? I'm guessing Kinlaw was not playing.
Kinlaw was all.
I see he's listed as questionable on your depth chart. I was trying to figure out if you're starting D tackles. Because, like, we all know, y'all got ran over. But Bosa wasn't in that game, correct?
Nope.
Exactly. I'm going to tell you right now, it don't matter that he's a D end. His ability to crash inside, outside, and make reads on the play, there's a reason he is on the top 100 in his position, all his PFF grades. The dude's a monster. So he shuts down an entire side.
All right. Well, we got a little bit of echo on your.
Is that mine again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you want to talk, just unmute.
I don't appreciate y'all taking my Ravens players and bringing them into camp and cutting them to get inside information on our defense. Totally kidding, by the way. This is common practice in the NFL. I'm referring to Dalen Hayes and Anthony Everett. Y'all just cut them both.
I don't even know who that is. I'm sorry.
Outside linebacker in a corner. Honestly, Anthony Everett didn't match our system, and Dalen Hayes was like a 5th-round pick from us that we wanted to develop, but he just never developed. But it's common practice in the NFL. If you, like we used to do all the time with the Steelers and the Patriots, people that you know you're going to play big game against, bring in someone that you know is not going to make the camp and see maybe if they can give you some insider information on that defense or offense, you know, because, you know, they got no loyalty. They're not coming probably back to their original team.
There was a few times.
They're on a journeyman.
We used Trey in camp and for the defense when they were playing, you know, more of a mobile quarterback. What I want 49er fans to understand is this. I'm still faithful. I'm ready to go till I'm dead and cold. That ain't changing. That is not changing. But that does not mean that I have to like what goes on around here. It does not mean that I have to agree with some BS when I see it. And that's just me. You know what I'm saying? Everybody here is all love. You know, Brian is a really, really good dude, man. Very, very awesome human being. Seriously. And I got nothing but love for Brian. I don't understand his stance on Kyle, but I still got love for it. That's always going to be my case. That ain't never going to change nothing. We root for the same team. We bleed that same red and gold blood. And of all teams, you really think I could turn around and be a Cowboy fan? That's disgusting. I want to throw up a little bit in my mouth just saying the word. It's horrible. Now, for me, do I want us to have a successful season? Yes. Do I want us to win a Super Bowl? God, yes. For so many of the Niner fans that just haven't had the opportunity to see one. I've been fortunate to see 4. I was a baby when we won our first one, so I wouldn't even remember what it was. But I've been fortunate to see 4 Super Bowls. I would love to see another one. And I think there's a lot of 49er fans that deserve that. So, honestly, I'm telling you right now, on a good note, league, NFL, and even you, Darwin, 95. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Drake Jackson is going to rip the NFL to shreds this year. And I am so sorry. Everybody that was screaming that they didn't believe in him, when he comes out and sacks that quarterback and knocks the ball down and gets those, oh my, I am going to be so happy. I can't stand USC. I hate USC. I am a diehard UCLA Bruin till the day I die. My uncle born and bred me that way. So it hurt when Elijah Kelly did what he did, but there was like a small part of me that was low-key happy because he's UCLA and he had a good time. I love what DTR is doing over there in Cleveland, but I will always root for my team, man. And I will always love all of these guys, man. Everybody is fantastic here. Corey, Wolf, Darwin, it's nice to meet you, bro. You know what I'm saying? And, Brian, he just got into this game, man, and he's already just making beautiful strides. His lovely wife literally got several of the ladies out there doing the show, and it's great when you hear the women talk because they're so intelligent and just like you want to hear more. And it's great when you sit there, man, with a woman, you can watch a football game and she actually knows what's going on. It sucks worse when they don't know what's going on and they just try to be supportive, and then after a while you kind of look at them like, sorry, you can go. You don't have to be here. No. I want to. It's all right. You don't really like this, but Brian doesn't have that problem. Brian's wife will watch 49 games with him, but you be just as pissed, if not more pissed off than him when something goes wrong.
I got in trouble last night. We were watching the game, and she's rooting and screaming, and I looked at her, and I'm like, hey, can you calm down a little bit? No, I should not have said that.
You told a woman to calm down, Brian?
Yeah, I was about to say, Brian, what are you doing, man? You almost didn't make the show today.
Start the DBZ fight sounds.
Come on, man. Before you make those decisions, call somebody. Just tell us. We'll let
Run
you
it by the gang, homie.
I tell you what, I really didn't think I can't tell you the truth. I kind of feel like it was just a cold shoulder because of what I said, but the way the Niners started playing, I didn't get anything from her for like a good quarter. And then I looked over at her, and was like, hey, and then she started, I like the joke. It took me a minute to warm her back up, But no, if you ever meet Tony in person, she is 100% true. She's real. She loves the Niners. She'll listen to other people's opinions, but she likes to be able to talk as well. And that's why I like this show, because, we get to get opinions from other people. You don't always agree, but you don't have to disagree either. And if you do disagree, you can do it in a respectful manner where we can still have fun and come back and talk. But Corey, you've been quiet for a minute. What's your thoughts, buddy? I know it's been a minute. We lost Wolf, but anytime we get a chance to get Wolf on, we'll bring him on. But Corey, the Cowboys, really?
Yeah, I like anybody else for the Cowboys. Now you got me wanting. I want Trey to do good, but not with the Cowboys. I don't have to root for the Cowboys. I want Trey to do good. I like, Trey. Oh God, now he's with the Cowboys. Oh, now I have to root for him to do good, and he's got to be with the Cowboys. I was like pissed off when Brian called me yesterday. I was happy first. I was sitting down happy saying Trey Lance gonna play. Then Brian called me and says he's getting traded to the Cowboys. I'm like, what the? I said, oh shit. No. I said, Brian, you're ruining my day. It was happy. And now I'm mad.
Oh man, I was upset too.
I love that. Hey, I love Steve-O's comment right there, man. Kyle's troll game is on 100. It is. His troll game is at a maximum, sir. Full Mac. Kyle is the troll of all trolls, bro. And I guarantee you, it's priceless. I'm gonna get up out of here, man. I got some stuff to do. Appreciate y'all for having me on. Darwin, if you have an opportunity, man, get at me, man. Would love to do a preview show for our game later in the year. Praying that you don't kick the crap out of us, because once again, Lamar with viable receivers scares me. I don't like any of that.
As our cornerback room can stay healthy, which is literally the only question.
Yes, that is true. Your DB room cannot. I don't know what happens, but y'all
they're starting to get healthy. But Marlon's going to miss the first few games of the season now, which is a huge fucking kick in the balls for us.
Don't worry, man. As long as y'all can beat out the Steelers, that's all that matters. You right?
I ain't gonna lie, man. They look good the other night. And Brian was here with my draft when we did the NFL Draft Live special.
Yeah.
He was there. I was kicking the shit out of. I was fucking Steelers are nailing their fucking draft right now. Steelers. Fuck, I wish I got that player. I wanted that player. Bengals too. We're taking players on my draft special. I was so angry.
We are literally, Brian, tell me if I'm wrong, and Corey and Wolf, we literally the only team we even worry about in our division is the Seahawks. It's literally it.
They had a great.
The Rams are a dumpster fire, and we all know the Cardinals is going to fail miserably because they still got little shorty
bro.
over there. You know what I'm
Trading
saying?
Isaiah Simmons, they're tanking.
Yeah. And I can tell you that, you know, the messed up part, they traded Isaiah Simmons, and Buda Baker's the one who really wanted out.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for Buda, man. I caught that clip of him on Hard Knocks where bro, those were legit tears, and that was legit frustration. That man said, I am tired of losing. Like this, come on, y'all. What are we doing? And that you get to that point, man, and you got to let people know, like, bro, I don't want to be here. Because I can tell you right now, you will know if a player loves championships by the moves they make.
Mm-hmm.
See, if somebody doesn't have a ring, but they're great, they don't go to nobody, nothing teams. If they do go to those teams, you know why? It's because those teams will overpay them. And they're on the back end of their career. But I can tell you right now, number one player, Steven Jackson. All that time with the Rams, he knew they was trash. Man had the nerve to get on national television and say, I left because I got tired of losing. No, sir, you left because they didn't want to pay you anymore. And you went to Atlanta and you failed, and now you're nowhere to be found.
You want to look at the true case of that Joe Thomas in Cleveland. He stayed his entire fucking career.
Bro, how could you
one of the
do
most
that to
biggest
yourself?
dumpster fires in the NFL.
And he
took
was
pay
one of
cuts
the
to stay with
best.
them. Like,
He was one of the best, too. Joe Thomas was.
that's one of those ones. That's my
serious.
division, man. And I fucking love Joe Thomas. I respect the shit out of Joe Thomas. I don't
Man.
give a fuck what team he was on. Like,
Yeah, he did.
I got a question for you 49er fans. We've got a guy on our roster who's a trade candidate right now, an offensive lineman. Now, he plays guard, but he's kind of played all across the offensive line. And I know y'all's right
We don't need
tackles.
no more. No,
You don't need a right tackle?
no thanks.
No,
Okay.
we don't need another utility player. That
Yeah,
plays.
we do not.
This boy
Yeah,
is 6'6", 370 from University of Georgia. He's
That's all
nicknamed the
right.
Mountain.
That's okay. Brian, let him know.
I'll take that fourth. Come on, man.
We don't need
player.
no.
One player that just plays right tackle, not
That's
everything.
it.
You know?
Well, he
That's
plays
it.
right guard, actually, but he's played
Oh, yeah,
every
no,
position other
we
than
already have a
center.
right guard. His name's Spencer Burford. Nope, we
I
don't
think
need
Ben
him.
Cleveland. His name's Ben Cleveland, aka the Mountain. I think he's going to find a team.
He is going to
him a
pitch
right
this
tackle.
until somebody bites. It's not going to happen.
Well,
hey,
hey, draft
we got a
picks,
guy
man.
named-
Come on.
Hey, look, we got a guy named John Feliciano who plays all over the line. You can take him and do whatever you want.
Okay,
No
I know
one cares.
Feliciano.
You know, we've got a guy named Alfredo Gutierrez that we've been holding hostage for I don't know how many years, and that man ain't never even seen the damn preseason field. That is what it is. But appreciate y'all, man. Nothing but love to everybody here. Get at me, Darwin. You know, if you're in that chat that we have, just holler at me, man, because I'd love to do a show with you as far as a preview. I like it, and see y'all later, man. Everybody stay blessed.
You too.
All right, let's get Wolf to mute for a second. See what he's got to say.
I think you guys said most of everything, man. I'm just pissed off. I think Super Bowl went down the drain. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on the Super Bowl for us this year, man? Because I'm not feeling good about it. Our run defense and stuff like that.
I'm feeling that we could still go. I think if Nick Bosa back, the run defense gonna be a little bit better because the Niners will be able to do some stunts with him, and you know he's the one that brings it out. It makes the offensive line has to worry about Bosa. So I see, as long as Bosa come in, we'll be back together on the defensive line. But I'm just praying that Brock Purdy don't get hurt. We had to go Sam Darnold. I don't have no confidence in Sam Donald. I said this last night. I said this all this week when I first heard that he was the backup quarterback. I said we had to go to Sam Donald. It's over. I don't have no trust in him. I said if he does come in and he winning games and stuff, and we make it a Super Bowl and we win it with Sam Donald, I will come on this show, come on every show, and say I was wrong. I should have confidence in my man Sam Donald. But right now, I don't have no confidence in him.
I think he's one of the only quarterbacks in NFL history to throw 4 interceptions in a quarter or half in the Jets game against the Patriots, where they said he was seeing ghosts.
Well, I said it a while ago, and I'll say it again. If Sam Darnold comes out and he has to start, and he starts winning games, I am definitely going to get behind the Sam Darnold train. I'm going to make a shirt. I talked to Tony already about it. I might make a green shirt. I might make a white shirt, but it's gonna say Sam Darnold. I ain't afraid of no ghost. It's gonna say ghost busting time on it. I might have a Slimer image on it if you guys know who the Ghostbusters are. Yeah, I'm not afraid that he can't come out and do well with this team. He's got to put it together though. It's all up here in his head. He's had 55 interceptions. He's had 35 fumbles. Guy's got 90 plus turnovers. But, sometimes, going to a different, school, going to a different team, doing a different job, different, right? It's just going to be different, and you don't always get the same results. So I'm not going to lay down and be like, oh man, we got Sam Darnold, but I just don't understand why they kept Brandon Allen over Trey Lance. That's my one thing is I try to justify it in my head and say, oh, it's because he's been a not a starter, a backup for, Joe Burrow. But seriously, he's a backup. He's been a veteran backup, a career backup for a reason. So I say the only thing I can really say is I think Trey really, truly wanted out. He said, I want out. And the Wednesday conversation, as polite or as, civil as it could have been, or maybe it didn't get civil, but what it sounds like is he expressed himself well and asked for a trade, and they said, we'll see what we can do. Not what I wanted to hear, but I don't think our Super Bowl window closes. I just think, it's the same issue every year. We got to try to stay healthy. If we can't stay healthy, then we're not going anywhere.
I think your roster has a little less wiggle room this year compared to last year for the Super Bowl window, but it's absolutely there as long as I think that I'm a big believer pass rush wins championships, and as long as your team is healthy, I know y'all have mentioned it, but I'm a little concerned watching the DB room a little just unproven. Not that there's a lack of talent by any means. There's lots of talent in that room. We talked about Jair Brown a lot when he was drafted as well. So of course that it plays into it. And I'd like to mention one thing, 49er fans, the absolute key thing for you to keep an eye on right now is going to be Chris Jones. I'm going to bet money right now. Bosa doesn't want to sign his new deal until Chris Jones gets his new deal from either Kansas City or gets traded. He's got 1 year left. We already know on the Bosa deal that he is heavily influenced by Aaron Donald's contract as well as TJ Watts of the Steelers. Whenever anyone talks about his potential upcoming contract, those are the two that are mentioned. Because just like me, I knew the moment Jalen Hurts got his deal, Lamar's deal was coming right behind it. And of course, if you'd watched my channel, I'd already done over the cap and mocked my own contract, which actually was not too far off from what they got. But Chris Jones wants this contract. He's ranked as the number 1 D tackle right now, actually over Aaron Donald, just because of age. He's 3 years younger and kind of put up almost the same exact numbers. So that's something as a 49ers fans, you need to fucking highlight. The moment Chris Jones gets his deal, you can almost bet within a week, you will see Bosa get his deal done. And I'll put that, or I said 2 weeks. We'll say 2 weeks. And you can put that on record.
Hey, Levi.
Yeah.
Does Bosa have to sign? Doesn't he still have a year on his contract?
Yes, he's just like Chris Jones. He has 1 year left on his contract, technically. So he doesn't have to sign anything right now. He could take this all the way. You'd love to get the deal done before the deadline. I forgot exactly. I want to say it's around like week 4 is the deadline to sign extensions. Maybe it might be later. But no, he doesn't have to get the deal done. And we talked about this a little bit. I did a little bit of cap analysis on the 49ers, just because I'm hanging out with y'all so much and I was already doing some other projects. Y'all are in a great financial position to sign Bosa. You're in a great position to retain any players that you wanted, and that's prior to Lance, even though Lance isn't going to really open any doors for you. And then looking at your upcoming free agents over the next 3 years as well, again, the Niners are in a pretty good position for the next 3 years to make some really good runs. They're going to have the money to pay not only Bosa, but y'all also have, I believe, Ayuk coming up 2 years, I think, for contract extension. Or he might be the same year as Bosa. I don't know. Either way, you're going to have the money for both. I've mocked the contracts. Basically, like I was talking about earlier, I took Watts and Donald's contract, kind of worked them together, put an increase because every year, basically, other than COVID, the salary cap has increased, which is why every year record-breaking contracts happen. So with that in mind, I mocked my own contract for Bosa. And when I saw what I had left afterwards, I was like, oh, Ayuk's easy then. Like, even in the current escalated wide receiver market, which I think is around like 15 million a year, I think, for star level talent wide receivers, you're going to have it. You're going to have it. You're going to be able to sign them to multi-year deals, which again is going to push that window even further down the road. And then I think your next thing you're going to have to address is whenever Trent Williams decides to hang it up. That's really going to be the only biggest question mark, I think, in the future for y'all.
I agree. So with all this noise about Bosa not coming, he's not going to come. Why would he not come? You still could get paid even if you wait until week 4. And I don't know if that's, I don't know, because I think I've heard players getting signed later in the year too. So I'm not sure exactly that, but
look it up.
Why would you hold up? The only reason he's holding up, I truly believe, again, my opinion, guys, he doesn't want to be out here for the preseason. And, maybe he just doesn't want to be out here right now. Maybe he's got some things going on up there. But there's been a couple of times where John Lynch came out and it sounded like it was going to be a Bosa signing, a Bosa announcement, and they changed the narrative. And then just recently he was in New York and he was up there talking to his agent. So I think like what you're saying, Raven, there's a lot of things to take into consideration here, because just as soon as he signs, then those other guys are signing, and they're going to sign more. And
all of those guys are pushing for record-breaking contracts, essentially, which is why a lot of times it's a waiting game.
Yeah, it's like what happened with the wide receivers last year, and it was really neat because the agent was able to get each one of them, a record-breaking, for their individual. Like somebody got guaranteed, somebody got overall
total money. Yep.
Yeah. So we'll see. Definitely got a lot of things to look forward to. It's not going to be quiet for the next 2 weeks in 49er land or in football land at all. It's just going to get louder and louder. Corey, what do you think, buddy?
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing, that Bosa is gonna probably announce on Monday he's signing. He probably, like you said, waiting for the preseason's over with, and then they gonna announce it. But because, like I said on my show, David Cronin asked a good question. He said, "Will we beat the Steelers without Nick Bosa?" Can I'm like, we can, but it's gonna be harder. I think we need Nick Bosa to be out there, plus putting pressure on that quarterback.
They're typing.
Yeah, so if you guys ever want to come on the show, just drop in the chat sometime, or hit me on Twitter. I have a Facebook as well. Levi right here, he's in Florida, and it's always fun to talk to people on different sides of the planet, different sides of the country, because you get different opinions, different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Levi coming on, and if he ever needs me to come on, he knows how to get me on too. But the reason I like Levi coming on is because he's not just a Ravens fan, he's a football fan. and he can look at people and say, hey, just from like he did today, outsider's perspective looking in, and you give us a view from, a level-headed, someone else just saying, hey, this is what I'm looking at. So appreciate you again, Raven, and Corey, appreciate you too. Guys, it's been about a half an hour, hour and a half. Probably should get going with our Saturdays. Hope everybody got something to drink, had some nice coffee. We do this show every Saturday, every Sunday. Football season's getting closer, so we're going to change the date and time on Sunday show, maybe go into a hiatus for a little while, hibernation, and then come back out stronger than ever, right? But appreciate you guys coming, and please make sure you like, subscribe, and share to Darwin's Raven. He's a great content creator. He's got a great channel. Just go check him out. Later, I'll have links in the description. So if you want to come back and, don't want to be lazy, or if you want to be lazy, you just click right there at the link, it'll take you to his channel. Corey Davis is my good buddy here as well. He's got a great channel. He does a lot of stuff with a lot of content creators. So please check his channel out. It's Corey Davis. And, you get a lot of good perspective. So, with that, guys, let's give a final thought of the overall preseason and your guys' thoughts and what you'd like to see, anything you want to plug or say. Darwin, we were talking earlier, you said that you guys still have a preseason game tonight. So there's definitely football still to be watched and seen. So go ahead.
Yeah, so of course we got our final preseason tonight, guys. Shout out real quick. I'll be live here tonight. I believe 7:00 game, so 6:50 I think I'll be up. But we're playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm hoping I haven't got confirmation who's going to be really playing tonight, but I will be looking at a lot of our camp battles going on. Going forward, I'm going to be trying to streaming, guys. Brian's awesome. I love talking to him. I love being on the show. So thanks for having me again. We're trying to get the stream up and going again, guys. Just we had a lot going on between like deaths in the family, death of some of my football friends. I'm back in school now, so I've got accounting and business law classes plus some other ones. So I'm trying to work it all into everything, and then I'm also now in an entrepreneurship competition program at my college as well, where I'm working on trying to get a pitch for like $10,000. So I'm working on a lot of different stuff, but I really want to get my channel going again. So thanks for having me on, Brian. I greatly appreciate it. I'll always be here if you'll have me.
Oh man, you're always welcome. If anybody wants to get a hold of Levi, you just heard his schedule is a little busy. You can reach out probably through multiple social medias. I know how to get a hold of him. I can help, contact him. But, again, got to remember he's in school now. He is a little bit busier. So he'll make time, if you guys want to, hook up. Because, again, he likes doing his YouTube. He's got a great channel. Does a lot of stuff with fantasy, a lot of stuff with other players. And
oh yeah, sorry, can I shout that out real quick? I'm trying to get the fantasy football going up again. I made TikToks and stories saying I don't care how many I gotta, do. Just shoot me a message on Twitter and I'll shoot you the invite link. And I'm trying to get at least 4 groups going, which might be a little crazy, but it just keeps me even more in tune with everything going on in the NFL. And that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. I like playing fantasy. I was playing 3 leagues this year. I had dropped one because I think that's just a little bit too much for me on my schedule. So I'm in 2 leagues right now, and we'll see how everything goes. But Corey, thank you again for coming. Do you want to let anybody know what's going on with your day or what you got going on with your channel? And then we're gonna ask everybody to like and subscribe and check us all out, and hopefully see you tomorrow. But go ahead, Corey.
Well, today I'll just be relaxing. Probably check out if my Ladies of the Empire beating tonight. Are they having a show tonight, Ryan?
Yes.
Checking them out tonight. 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific time.
Yep.
So make sure y'all check out his wife tonight, Ladies of the Empire.
And this is why I love having Corey or David McNiner, because I need to have these Post-its around my computer so I can remember to say my little plugs the right way.
You should see all around my computer right now.
I feel so bad. It's not I really appreciate Corey, because just as soon as I end it and I don't plug it, it's I know I'm gonna walk out there and I'm gonna get a smile, but it's not gonna be the smile I want. I love my wife, but I definitely need to promote her channel more. So thank you, Corey. But go ahead.
And so then I'm supposed to be going out for lunch, I believe, today too. Then tomorrow, try to get up and wake up again to see Brian's show in the morning, Sunday morning. And then I have a show Sunday evening. We gonna have a hangout show. And again, I'm be asking my panel to come up with questions to ask in the panel. Everybody gonna have a turn in the panel to ask a question that everybody can answer.
Okay.
So again, I'm asking for that because I liked what we did. How it went Thursday. It went smoothly to me. And
I'm trying to start a new. Oh, sorry.
We're gonna be talking about about Friday game, and a little bit of Trey Lance trade, a little bit. I know I'll be a little late on that. And then also, what players do you think we're gonna keep? What players gonna make the team, or what players gonna drop on Tuesday?
Should make the question, who do you think will be the biggest camp bubble surprise that makes the roster for the 49ers? Just like one player that like you're like, whoa, that'd be a good one. I meant to talk to you about it because I know you do your trivia and stuff. I thought about seeing if you wanted to set up through like Streamlabs. You can set up so people can like submit their answers and everything too, technically, and you can take polls. And I don't know if you've ever done anything like that.
Well, I'll be trying to do trivia when it's next off season.
Okay. I'm trying to start. You mentioned like a panel show. I'm trying to start one. I nicknamed it. I've talked about it in our Twitter with Brian a little bit. I want to nickname it Around the Bay because we have, of course, the Chesapeake Bay in Maryland, and of course, y'all have the Bay. And I'd love to do like a panel series too, for future reference for anyone that wants to come in.
So there's definitely a lot of noise and interesting things that will be coming up. So please turn your notifications on to everyone's channel, like and subscribe. And if you haven't already, we appreciate you. We'll see you guys here real soon. And, again, stay faithful. Darwin, go ahead and say your, I don't know what the Ravens say. I'm sorry.
Don't know what the Ravens say? Catch me outside the bank.
Okay,
I don't know if y'all met Mark Ingram doing that. When people are shit talking Lamar, he's like, catch me outside the bank. It's going down.
All right, Corey, go ahead. We're going to go ahead and get out of here.
Go 49ers and F all them other teams out there.
We're going to see you later this season, Corey.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Thank you, guys.